Have a seat.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All righty.
Well, let me mention a couple of data points that perhaps do not suggest it's worse, but suggest a broad gulf. One has to do with Ferguson, which you alluded to. There's a case where there was a grand jury investigation that was released. There were thousands of pages of testimony. People went around reading them. I certainly did. There was a lot of evidence, a lot of debate even about the grand jury process. And in the end, the surveys showed that majorities of white people thought the grand jury was right not to indict the officer who shot Michael Brown. Majorities of African Americans found the grand jury was wrong. How do you lead the country when people see the basic facts so profoundly differently?
But that's not new, Steve. I mean,
not new, but how do you deal with it in your final 2 years?
Well, I think that the fact that there's a conversation about it and that there are tools out there that we know can make a difference in bridging those gaps of understanding and mistrust should make us optimistic. When I was in the state legislature in Illinois, I passed a racial profiling bill. From the perspective of African Americans, there was a common phenomenon called driving while black, that you were more likely to be stopped, particularly in certain jurisdictions. If you had asked whites in those jurisdictions, do you think that traffic stops were done fairly, the majority of whites probably would say yes, because it's not something they experience. It's not because of racism. It's just that it's not something that they see. We were able to work with the police department and the state police in Illinois and persuade them that they would be doing a better job policing if we just kept track so that we had data, and combined with training, suddenly those officers out there are more intentional about how they decide, should I stop somebody or not? And the incidence of racial profiling went down. The same is true with a lot of these issues. If you have good policing, I guarantee you that nobody's interested more in good policing than the African American community or the Latino community, because they're more likely to be victimized if they're in low-income communities by crime. And the task force that I've put together is drawing from police and faith community and civic leaders and activists. And what's been striking to me in the conversations we've had is that they're interested in solving a problem as opposed to simply stewing in the hopelessness of race relations in this country. And I'm convinced that we actually are going to see progress on this issue next year.